Story 1. My anxiety is not just feeling nervous about a test tomorrow. It is wanting to leave my house and go to the store, but worrying about having a panic attack far from home. I fear being in public, unable to drive while panicking, and feeling trapped and alone. Because of this, I stay at home when I am not at work. I have no life outside of work and my room. Story 2. I quit smoking marijuana 4 months ago and quit nicotine 2 weeks ago. This is the first time I have been sober from any substances in about 10 years. Story 3. My husband. No, it's not a small problem like not putting dishes in the sink. I wish we had normal couple arguments such as a wet towel on the bed, dirty clothes on the floor instead of the basket, or leaving dishes on the coffee table. No, we have serious problems. He is a serial cheater, manipulator, gaslighter, has anger issues, is a sex addict, has physically abused me and mentally abuses me. But he will not be a problem for long, hopefully. We are currently separated, and I am walking away now. Story 4. Morning sickness from a baby I want so badly. I am grateful for this challenge. I am learning to work through it. My first appointment is August 12th. Fingers crossed this baby sticks and I become a mother. Story 5. I suffered brain damage due to a hospital mistake. My memory is impaired, and I cry every day from overwhelming despair. Story 6. In the span of 1 week, I was in a car accident with a fallen tree. A man I know nearly drowned in a lake while on drugs and almost killed my friend while saving his life. My boyfriend of 3 happy years cheated on me with my roommate's girlfriend, completely blindsiding me. Because of that, I have to move almost an entire apartment during the hottest week of the summer into a small bedroom in my parents' house. Oh, and I have no job. Help. I guess I'll buy lottery tickets when my luck comes back. Story 7. Combination of issues. I recently had melanoma removal surgery, my mother-in-law is dying, my grandmother just passed away, my daughter needs an MRI and another procedure under anesthesia, and my dog just had dental surgery. Finances are tight right now, but overall life still feels good despite everything. We have jobs, a roof over our heads, and healthy children. Story 8. My brain's complete lack of positive chemicals is concerning. I would be shocked if it has not already completely purged them all. Story 9. Financial matters such as paying off loans and trying to save at the same time are typical but remain a challenge. Story 10. No matter how hard I work, the people in my life make more money than I do, and they all think I am lazy because of it. Story 11. Work stress has affected me, and I have coped by overindulging. Now I am overweight, stressed, and exhausted all the time. I know I would be happier if I could get organized and lose weight, but it is very difficult. Story 12. No money, no health insurance. I am juggling 2 jobs without enough hours at either an online school so I can hopefully eventually get ahead. Between all that, I am trying to make sure I put in time with my child. It is going to be harder since school is starting up again and I work nights and weekends at one of my jobs. I am just focusing on putting one foot in front of the other for now. Story 13. I'm not happy. I'm just tired of trying at this point. I can only give so much to my work life, home life, and personal life. I'm done. I don't have any more to give or have anyone take from me. Yes, I understand I'm not giving details, but I just don't have the will to do it. I've never felt so used, abused, and overworked, and not even considered to provide those details. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm just done. Story 14. Truly the worst thing for me. Pumpkin Spice Satan and the current regime. The Supreme Court has been bought. Republicans bought it, and our Democratic senators are too afraid to stand up to him. Story 15. My constant fear of death. My fear of flying, which is also a fear of death. My fear that someone I love will die. Story 16. My cat keeps vomiting on my comforter. I keep washing it, but he continues to vomit and has not learned to vomit on the ground. Story 17. Always trying to make more money. I have a health issue that no one can diagnose or solve. Story 18. My confidence and my social skills need improvement. I want to grow in these areas, but I am not sure where to start. I also struggle with my relationship with God and my religion. Story 19. I finally healed from a major heartbreak and found love again. Then he relapsed on drugs last night. Story 20. Shackled to a bed rotting and doom-scrolling lifestyle, as if there is nothing else, and I cannot seem to break orbit. Story 21. I am working through my anger issues and rewiring my brain to be more open and communicate my wants and needs effectively. Talking things out has helped a lot, but there are still some relationships I need to repair. Story 22. I have kidney failure and am on dialysis due to a rare kidney disease. I am still working but battling constant fatigue so severe that I frequently doze off at my desk. My blood pressure is completely out of control because of the kidney failure, so I take very strong blood pressure medications that do not help with the fatigue. The house is a mess because I do not have the energy or time to clean. It is all very depressing. Story 23. I'm chronically ill with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a connective tissue disorder that comes with hypermobility and severe joint pain. It is well known for its comorbid symptoms such as dysautonomia, where my autonomic nervous system is impaired, so I must consciously control functions that are normally automatic. This also includes postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which causes my heart rate to exceed 120 beats per minute when I stand. Vasovagal syncope, which involves near fainting or feeling faint without actually losing consciousness. Mast cell activation syndrome, which makes me allergic to nearly everything. Asthma, which affects my breathing. Chiari malformation, where my brain sags into the opening where my brainstem passes through, causing severe headaches, depression, anxiety, a panic disorder, where my body stays in fight or flight mode and small triggers lead to panic attacks, and neurodivergence. My first attempt to get diagnosed was difficult. I was sent to a cardiologist to have a tilt table test, the gold standard for diagnosing postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, but it was refused. Instead, I had an electrocardiogram that showed a low PR interval under 0.12 seconds, indicating that the electrical signal in my heart fires slightly too quickly. I also have an incomplete right bundle branch block, meaning the electrical signal is partially blocked. Today, I was scheduled for a nuclear stress test, which requires an injection I was not informed about. Due to my needle phobia, I nearly passed out and was unable to complete the test. I am currently trying to obtain a referral to a neurologist. Meanwhile, I can only work for 3 hours a night and sometimes struggle to complete my shift. I am also dealing with sleep disturbances, gastrointestinal problems, and many other issues. Story 24. My wife had an elderly aunt and uncle 500 miles away. They never had children. The aunt's sister, my mother-in-law, and my wife and her brother were her only blood relatives. The aunt was close to them. The uncle had only one sibling, a half-sister he hadn't talked to in 30 years. The aunt and uncle had said they were going to leave their estate, approximately $1.4 million, to my wife and her brother. The aunt got sick and passed away in May without a will. By law, the estate was now solely the uncle's. He also had no will. My wife and her family went to the funeral, and while they were in town, he agreed to meet with an attorney to have a will written, giving everything to my wife and her brother as they had said. The lawyer said it would take a couple of weeks to draw up the will. We were all nervous about that. He was frail but didn't seem to be in imminent danger of passing. However, the family went home, and he was left alone, distraught, and lonely. He stopped eating, stopped taking his medications, and ended up in the hospital a week later unconscious. He passed 19 hours before the scheduled meeting to sign the will. So, according to probate law, every penny goes to his estranged half-sister. We lost about $700,000 minus taxes and fees. Not exactly quit your job and retire early money, but plenty enough to take care of deferred maintenance on the house, go on a nice vacation or two, set our kids up with some seed money, and top off the retirement accounts. People make a will. Story 25. I am an author and have nearly completed the first book in a new series, with about 4 chapters left to write. The sequel is already planned out, and a third book is developing in my mind. However, I am still learning how to market my books. I can complete the Coursera course in about a week, maybe 5 days if I concentrate. It would delay production and editing, but marketing is an area where I need to gain more expertise. So, should I take the course or write book 2? There is little point in having a product no one knows about. I do enjoy learning, but the course will still be available when I have more products. If I take the course in intensive mode, I will have 9 hours left in my day so I can study and sleep like I am 24 again. Story 26. Money. $10,000 would help immensely, $20,000 would relieve nearly all stress, $50,000 would solve all my current problems, and $100,000 would give me a cushion and help me sleep comfortably at night. I am not selfish and I do not like expensive things, but everything costs money, and I only have so much. Story 27. I am not able to walk because of foot surgery. I miss walking. I did not realize this blessing until I lost it temporarily. Story 28. Complex regional pain syndrome and chronic fainting, neither of which can be explained by numerous specialists. The last time I fainted, I hit my front teeth on a ledge. I have been to an oral surgeon numerous times, and the next step is to build a bridge with bone grafting so implants can be installed. Story 29. Hoping they don't forget the chips like they always do. Sorry, I need chips with my al pastor burrito. Story 30. Never-ending cycle of self-shame and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It is the gateway for almost all of my other problems, especially social anxiety and depression. Story 31. 1. My mother has terminal cancer. 2. My homeland is being destroyed by a brutal war with daily bombings. 3. I am with my 3-year-old child in a pediatric emergency room right now with a possible appendicitis. Story 32. My job is my biggest problem. I am a person who identifies as a lesbian, and every day I have to wake up and go to work, which is my biggest problem. Story 33. I do not live where I want to live. Money is the way to solve it, and I am working on that. It has been a long struggle, but I am so close. Story 34. I am dealing with many things breaking. The ice maker, the hot water heater burst, the toilet needed to be reset, the car broke down, and the veterinary bills have been very high. Other than that, all is great. Story 35. Trying to figure out how to leave Washington State. I have a job lined up, but we do not have quite enough money to move. U-Haul alone costs $4,000. I am slowly moving forward and making the best choice possible at each decision point. Story 36. I moved cross-country to be with my partner again. We are looking for a house, but to afford the rent, we need the job I am currently applying for. To finish the application, I need an address, but to get the address. Story 37. I am canceling all my weekend plans because someone at a warehouse or Federal Express did not do their job correctly. Now I have to manage my life-saving tasks manually and cannot sleep for more than 3 hours for the next 4 to 5 days to avoid accidentally dying or ending up in the emergency room. Story 38. I have a very dangerous stalker who is a psychopath and a narcissist. He constantly threatens to kill me and even took out life insurance in my name with plans to murder me. He breaks into my house and my car regularly and has stolen my inheritance, trust fund, and many other things from my house, including my dog. Story 39. Needing a place to live. My wife and our cats need a place badly. I have been trying hard to find a job, but luck is not on my side. Hopefully, it will turn around soon. Story 40. Probably the person who was bothering the farm animals at the petting zoo when I was a child. He just cannot stop harassing me. I honestly do not know what his problem is. Story 41. I have no source of income. I wish I had a job right now instead of having to study too hard to get a job because I am not good at studying. My life after the internship is quite depressing without money, just as my father told me. Story 42. Health issues from unusual or seizure activity, but not the generalized tonic-clonic type, make life stressful. I never feel normal again, having great weeks and then suddenly my brain and nervous system react negatively. Story 43. My job is extremely stressful to the point that I feel my personality is changing. There are many changes happening with my family as well, so I am holding on tightly and hoping to find something better next year. Story 44. My car broke down and I don't have the money to fix it. My checking and savings accounts are about to be completely depleted. I don't know how I am going to pay rent, my car insurance, or the hospital bills I have. My fun summer is now over. I am too broke to go camping, which was all I wanted to do this summer. I have to work constantly and listen to other people's adventures now. Story 45. Fear. Sounds stupid, but I just do not know how to act. It is weird. I am weird. I used to not be like this, but I find myself overanalyzing my genuine responses to things, suppressing anger, and trying to be as cordial as possible because I have difficulty standing up for myself in a healthy, strong way. Story 46. The community I work in has been treating me poorly, and I want to find a new job elsewhere. However, none of the dozens of places I applied to are responding. Story 47. My father shot my mother 5 years ago and was sentenced a little over a month ago. He was released from prison after serving about a month. Now, there is a retrial. Story 48. Can't be sure I'll be able to get home each day, or if I'll have a home at the end of the day, or if I'll be alive at the end of the day. I live on Maui. COVID-19 almost killed me. The Maui wildfire almost got me and my home. On a weekly basis, we have roads shut due to car accidents, fires, and other unexpected events that can prevent me from getting home. In the last week, we had 2 tsunami watches and alerts. I'm in a first-floor apartment in the flooding zone. As the tsunami alert subsided, we were on a red flag warning for wildfires again because the conditions over the next few days match those from August 2023 when Lahaina burned. I can lose everything in a few hours. If my landlord raises the rent, I can't afford to live here anymore. If my job closes down, I can't afford to live here anymore. There are so many variables that can work against me. The emotional toll this is taking on me is immeasurable. I've been in therapy for almost 2 years, which has been very helpful. But there is always more weighing on me. There is no security. I have no lifelines. My Maui ohana or found family are all just as vulnerable as I am. Many of them have already lost everything in the last few years. Feels like one hit after another. Whether you get right back up or you're still on the ground, another one is coming for you. Story 49. Working at retail. Friends who do not respond when you text them. Slow and dry text messages. Trying to figure out if creating a new social media account is worthwhile for good reasons. Friends do not make the same effort as you do. Story 50. Fascism. I am certain I will be facing a trench full of dead bodies and waiting for a bullet to the back of the head within 10 years. Story 51. Not making enough money, having constant skin and physical problems, not being able to get pregnant, not being able to make friends. My whole life is in jeopardy. Story 52. Trying to buy a house in a village of 1,200 people. I work in the village as a secretary and work very hard for every child in the town. I have been saving to afford a house here. We love it. My husband and I graduated from this town. Feels very safe in these uncertain times. Someone in our village sold their 3-bedroom house with an unfinished basement to a relative for approximately $425,000. Now, everyone in town is trying to sell their houses for the same price. We will never be able to afford that unless we are retired. I work at the only school in town. I am scared. No one is listening to the secretary who wants so badly to live here, but it is just not possible with how little I am paid and how little people seem to care. Story 53. Not leaving this country because of lack of funds and being very scared about leaving a country that I have never left for more than a few days. Story 54. The dryer broke. We cannot afford a new one. I have many other problems, but this is the one at the forefront. Story 55. When I think about my current problems and how bad they are, I do not feel as stressed because I tend to have a solution. I just have to wait a long time before the problem gets solved. I guess my biggest problem is paperwork, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder does not combine well, so it is hard to get things done. I am doing my best though. Story 56. I'm a father to a 4-week-old daughter. My biggest problem and greatest fear is keeping her alive for the next 18 years. I have to worry about sudden infant death syndrome for the next 5 months. I love that little lady, and the idea that she could just randomly die at any second in the next 5 months is terrifying to me. Story 57. Financial ruin because I work in the public school sector. And I know that switching jobs will cause me to lose the time I spend with my son, which I currently have due to the school schedule. Also, losing weight. Food tastes so good. Story 58. ready to find a significant other, but despite 9 years of constant online dating, I have yet to meet anyone I connect with who won't ghost or cheat. There are not many places around here to meet people either. It is very frustrating seeing it work out easily for others. Story 59. Binge eating disorder. Therapy, medications, new job, new city. You can't change it or escape it. It's really scary to not feel in control. Story 60. My stepson is living in my home. He needs to leave. He is a freeloading, entitled, whiny, selfish, manipulative, disrespectful, dirty, and lazy man-child. Story 61. Lack of will. No job. Lots of anxiety. Fear of being homeless. I can deal with getting older. I like that I am closer to the end. Sort of comforting, to be honest. Story 62. Being alive. I would rather die and sleep forever than continue with humanity and this miserable life. I hate it here. Story 63. Money. We are a single-income household, and it is very difficult for me to find a part-time, fully remote job with flexible working hours. I cannot look for a better job until my youngest child is in school full-time, which will be in 2027. Story 64. Currently trying to help get our main office on track with performance metrics. It is not specifically my job, but I am the most senior person available and best suited to developing strategies. Story 65. I am starting my internship on Monday. I have worked for a week straight to collect all documents needed, and I am dealing with a human resources representative who is not very responsive. Story 66. Drugs and alcohol. But I have a great career and a great relationship with friends and family. One day I know it will catch up though. 27 million. Story 67. I work at a job I hate, but I cannot quit because I live and work with my uncle who got me the job. I just signed a 1-year lease with him and owe my father $19,000 for a car loan. I am stressed out all the time and feel drawn to danger whenever I am on the freeway near a cliffside with no guardrails. Story 68. I want to get into medical school. My life is difficult. I only want to be a doctor because it is the only field I have a genuine interest in, but it is hard and I am tired. Everyone is expecting so much from me, and all I want is to go on a 3-hour hike and cry. Story 69. My salary and rent used to be comfortable. Rent increased by 15%, and grocery prices are unbelievable. I like my job, but if I do not receive a pay increase, I will struggle in the foreseeable future. Story 70. Money and this low self-esteem keep me afraid of getting a better job with a higher salary. I need some practice with English grammar. Story 71. My chronic indecisiveness and my inability to analyze if my best friend and roommate is my actual friend or if he is just using me. I guess really I am my own problem, unless you count my job, but I feel like everyone in a 9-to-5 hates their job and workplace environment. Plus, I do not think anyone right now is making enough money to do more than survive, so I cannot use those. Story 72. Migraines render me useless with no clear cause according to several doctors. I stopped paying them to just shrug and decided to live with it. Story 73. Money, general stress that will not go away, anxiety, lack of sleep, lack of a love life. The list could continue. Story 74. I want to run a Dungeons & Dragons game this weekend with 2 friends, but one friend might not show up and it will let me and my other friend down. We have been planning this for about a month. Is anyone interested in joining so I can run this game online instead? Please be at least 30 years old, as everyone else is over 30, and have some experience playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, released in 2014. I am in US Eastern Standard Time and will likely run the game in the afternoon on Saturday. Story 75. The thought of getting through the next 20 to 40 years genuinely unsettles me. I cannot fathom my older self, and it drives me insane. This is not an issue, but it makes me feel uneasy. What helps is knowing that every single human has experienced this thought. Story 76. Just had my pension reduced by $337 per month. About a 15% income reduction. It is going to be pretty hard to adjust and make ends meet. Story 77. Trying to get some drawings done so I can sell them. I haven't even started because all of a sudden my family wants me to draw a bunch of things for them. I don't mind drawing for them, but it's just bad timing. However, I'll be done soon so I can finally get started. Story 78. I feel that I am almost literally alone and certainly figuratively. I am not making enough money for my needs and for my parents. I also struggle with anxiety. Story 79. My unrelenting job is burning me out so I can dig myself out of this hole and not ruin my relationships and life in general. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.